Okay, today I'm going to talk about something I read in Jung's Archetypes of the Collective Unconscious uh, about unmasking the true self. And Carl Jung is in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It mentions him in there trying to help somebody. And in there he talks about how the spiritual experience is really the only way he's ever seen for an alcoholic to become cured. Um, but in Archetypes of the Collective Unconscious, he said something that really caught my attention, and that was the following. Whoever goes to himself risks a confrontation with himself. The mirror does not flatter, it faithfully shows whatever looks into it, namely, the face we never show to the world because we cover it with the persona, the mask of the actor. But the mirror lies behind the mask and shows the true face. This confrontation is the first step of courage on the inner way, a test sufficient to frighten off most people, for the meeting with ourselves belongs to the more unpleasant things that can be avoided so long as we can project everything negative into the environment. And that really resonated with me, man. It sounds a lot like the fourth step of the 12 steps. And it also sounds a lot to me like Taoism. I think this is one of the amazing things about, like, what I guess they call in Christianity the logos, like Jordan Peterson refers to all the time. Truth, ultimate truth is just true, and it resonates. It resonates through all things, and you see truth in all things. So the confrontation with the self, um, to me, the way I look at that is like we accept the good things about ourselves, right? We pat ourselves on the back for those. So whenever we take an honest look at ourselves, obviously we're used to all those aspects of our character. So the only thing that remains to really look at is going to obviously be the shadow, as Jung calls it, or the negative parts of ourselves. The way he refers to the unmasking as a mirror that looks at the true self, they talk about that in Taoism too, as every day other people accumulate things, but every day I take something away. And it's like cleaning a dirty mirror. And the dirt on that mirror are the prejudices that we pick up from our anecdotal experiences, the prejudices of the conscious mind. Um, and it can be difficult to clean that mirror and see your true self. It can be difficult to face your true self. It can be difficult just to know how to clean that mirror. But that's what Jung talks about here: is that the first step is just looking at yourself honestly, and that is he says also that just knowing the question is of halfway to the answer. If you know the question, you're halfway there. So then he goes on to talk about something even more interesting, which goes to the second step of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is the second and third step. Really, uh, just admitting that we need help, a power greater than ourselves, just admitting that we can't do it, that we don't have all the answers, which is just reality. No one person can do everything, and no one person can do this on their own. Everybody needs help. Um, Once we admit that, uh, it allows thoughts to come from the unconscious that either never came before or we never recognized them before. Okay, and I think this is a great thing for atheists to read and look at, because Jung talks about how prayer does this, right? Prayer does this pretty good. The way you're supposed to pray, which is with gratitude and things like that, like the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? So, prayer, meditation, it allows you to get this, it allows you to tap into the unconscious, right? And the unconscious mind, the collective unconscious, right? We get that in the fellowship too when we go into those rooms of AA and NA. The collective conscious and unconscious of the room. And it's really powerful, man. And I know for me, I was just talking about this yesterday, which is why it's so interesting that I come across this today. Whenever I pray, you know, I still have to force myself to pray. There's still some reservations there. You know, there's part of me that doesn't believe it, despite my spiritual experience. There's part of me that still thinks, man, what am I doing here? And but when I sit and pray for guidance and selflessness and to help others and to do the will of the Tao, um, or God, whatever you want to call it, when I pray for that, I get answers immediately. You know, some people say that's God talking to them. It just sounds more kind of like my inner monologue, to be honest, like my own voice, but it gives me the answers. It's like I already know the answers somewhere deep inside. And Jung would argue, I guess, I'm not finished with the book, so I'm not going to try to expostulate here on things that I have no knowledge of, but it seems to me that he would say that the unconscious nature of man is something that's always been with us, and it's deep rooted, and it's kind of unaffected by experience. And so it's always there with the answers, because human beings are weak and helpless by nature, and we wouldn't have survived without being able to tap into something to give us those answers. And that's why spirituality has been a part of all cultures for so long, and that's why religion has survived. If you look at it from an evolutionary biological point of view, that's why these things have come along with us, because they're important. And if you just want to look at it from a purely scientific perspective, meditation and prayer calm the mind and get self out of the way. They get the conscious mind out of the way to allow the unconscious to come through with those primal truths, those real truths. And I know for me that's extremely helpful. It's in the silence is where creativity comes from, you know, and taking some time out during the day for that silence and to ask for help, I think, is key. It's of the utmost importance. I know it is for me. So when I do that, I usually find the answers and I feel better. It allows me to let go of things that are bothering me, and it allows me to find a solution and to deal with the problems of today. So yeah, I've got to get ready and take a shower and do something with this hair. So I didn't get a chance to post yesterday. I got up too late. I was busy. So that's all I got for today. And I love you guys, and God bless.